Christos Anesti. For this video, I just want to briefly explain some of what the alpha and the beta numbers mean on the Menaion and Paschalion computus. So I will be analyzing the short videos that I made on calculating for the year 2025 and 2026 for the Holy Pascha on the computus, because as you can see, it involves also evangelismos, which is on the Menaion, which is not on the Paschalion. So we can see how the Menaion and the Paschalion, especially in this case through the Feast of the Annunciation, evangelismos, how it is integral, how it is all integral to the one calendar of the Church. Where this is why neither part can be altered. Now, this is now of course the alpha number itself is the number within the 0 to 27, because we know that the Menaion cycle is the 28-year cycle. So each year is on a particular place within the 28 years. Let's say on the alpha, the number on the left. So we can see there that over the centuries, as the years go by, it's constantly cycling between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we'll go all the way to 27, and then back again to 0, and it'll keep cycling over and over. And the number on the right, the Vita, is the Paschal moon cycle, which is running from 0 to 18 because it's the 19-year cycle. So it's going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way, etc., all the way to 18, and then back to 0 again. And the cycle is going on as the years go by. So for this year, 2025, the alpha was 9, and the Vita was 11. And remember, this is the reason why the Anno Domini system was created. It was created so that it would correspond with the alpha and the Vita. Now, in the patristic writing, the alpha and the Vita number itself was assigned from 1 to 28 and from 1 to 19, because remember that historically there wasn't the inclusion of the 0, of course, until much later. But in the patristic writing, I did come across one reference to it where it was called a golden number. But that's basically the same as the alpha and the Vita. But in this case, because now in more modern times we have the inclusion of the 0, and because we're working with the remainders, it's the same thing, but it's running from 0 to 27 and from 0 to 18 in this case. So we're including the 0 as an actual place within the Menaion and the Paschal moon cycle. Now, of course, if we didn't know where we were along this, what the alpha and beta is for the year that we want to calculate, whether it's this year or any other year, all you have to do is just do a little bit of division, which I will demonstrate right now. If we were going to use a calculator, all you would have to do to find the alpha, so for example, for the year 2025, you would just put in 2025, and for the alpha, because it's a 28-year cycle, we want the remainder. We're dividing by 28. Now, when we press the equal sign, we're going to get a number with a decimal. Now, of course, we want a whole number remainder. So in order to find it on the calculator, what we would do is, of course, on this side of the decimal is just the whole number, which we want to get rid of. So we would just minus by whatever it is, so minus 72, just to cancel it out, to get rid of it. So we only have the number on this side of the decimal. So we would get this. Now, it won't do it on this calculator, but on some handheld calculators, if you press the equal sign again, it will just convert it into a fraction, but that doesn't matter. You can do that, but with our next step is to then multiply this by what we were dividing by. So then we multiply by 28, and this will yield our remainder. So the remainder is 9. So that's our alpha. With the same thing if we were going to do the beta. So we have the 2025 divided by, in this case, 19, because we remember we want a value that could be a 0, so 0 to 18. Remember, just like with the alpha, we're dividing by 28, but our remainder could be anything from 0 to 27, and in this case 0 to 18. So when we divide by 19, we get this. So we will get rid of the 106 by subtracting 106, just to cancel it out, to get rid of it. Now we have just the decimal part, which we will multiply by 19. And this equals 11. So that's our Vita, 9 and 11, as we can see here. As we can see here, 2025, 9 and 11. And if you did it for any other year, you would come up with one of these. So if you want to find another date that maybe we don't know, like let's just pick like the year 843 AD, the year of the triumph of orthodoxy, then you would do the same thing, and you would find that alpha and the Vita for that year. Now I'm going to try to do this and see if this works, but this is just a short video on calculating. Well, I'll have to do this video. This is the one for 2026. Because for the way it's fitting into this video, this is the only one I could do. So this is the year 2026, calculating it, and this is a demonstration. I'll stop it just to explain the different parts.
Christos Anesti, let us now calculate Holy Pascha for next year, 2026. So we know that for next year, 2026, our red number, the alpha number, is 10, and the blue, the Vita number, will be 12. So let's start with in the initialized position, and we turn the dial towards 10. And as we can see, Holy Evangelismos, the Annunciation, will be on a Tuesday. We know that.
So here we can see that, because I stopped it right here, because now remember, this year is for Pascha 2026. This video is the short video on Pascha 2026, which you can see on this channel under the shorts. I have 3 videos on the shorts. This is the 2026 one for next year. So of course we know that the alpha will be 10 in this case. So when we move the church dial to 10, we see that Evangelismos will be on a Tuesday. So next year we know that it will be on a Tuesday. That's the information that we have so far. It's going to be on a Tuesday.
March 25th will be a Tuesday, Evangelismos. Now we must reinitialize the gears. Now the gears are
So here, reinitializing the gear means to bring it back to the point where the 8 and the 1 and the because this is the starting point of the gear is on 8. The alpha 8, March 25th, which is the number 1 Vita, which happens to be March 25th, because it's through the Annunciation that kind of holds everything together. That's our starting point. It mystically, obviously, there's reasons for this, obviously, because of the significance of the feast of the Evangelismos, the Annunciation. So we can see here that now we went back to the initialized position, but we're preserving the hexameron gear, which is the 7-day week. So it's still on Tuesday, but we put it back. Now we're going to work on the Vita and find what the Vita is. Oh, well, we know that the Vita is going to be 12 for next year. So the alpha is 10 and the Vita is 12. So let's continue.
Initialized, and we see that preserving, of course, the Tuesday for Evangelismos, which is, of course, March 25th. Now we move the dial towards 12, which is our Vita, the blue. So as we move towards 12, we see something interesting. The Paschal moon will be March 24th, which is a Monday.
So here we can see that remember, each of the Vita dates has a Paschal moon assigned to it. So the Paschal moon, so like here, like for example, Vita 9 has March 27th outlined to it. Vita 17 has March 29th. Vita 6 has March 30th. Vita 14 has April 1st. So they all have, each of the Vitas are a Paschal moon. So they have a Paschal moon assigned to each Vita. So the Paschal moon for the Vita 12 is March 24th. So when we move the gear to to the Vita 12, March 24th pair here, we get it yields Monday. But remember, the Paschal moon can only run from Palm Sunday to Holy Saturday. Remember, because as we know, the Pascha is going to be the Sunday after the Paschal moon. So this Monday is Holy Monday. It's the Monday of Holy Week, which happens to be March 24th. So March 24th is the Paschal moon next year, 2026. Now also, we know already that Tuesday is going to be Evangelismos, which is naturally because that's March 25th, is going to be Evangelismos, which is on a Tuesday. So that's interesting, the fact that next year Evangelismos, the feast of the Holy Annunciation of the All Holy Theotokos, will be during Holy Week. So let me continue on.
Interestingly, it's very close to Evangelismos, which we know will be Tuesday, March 25th. So this Paschal moon for this year is the day before Evangelismos. So the Paschal moon will be on Holy Monday. So now we just count to find Pascha, just count from March 24th, the Paschal moon. 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th. So we can see that Holy Pascha will be on March 30th on the Orthodox calendar.
So we can see, and that's always how we calculate Holy Pascha from the Paschal moon. So the Paschal moon, remember what the Paschal moon is. The Paschal moon mystically is from the Old Testament. It's mystically the 14th of the first month on the Old Testament calendar, or Nisan 14. So mystically, Nisan 14 is falling next year on Holy Monday. And then from there we calculate to Sunday, Kyriaki. The K is for Sunday, Kyriaki, because remember, Holy Pascha is always on Sunday, obviously. So we can see how where we're getting the system from. We're counting now the 24th is from the 24th, which is Holy Monday, then the 25th, Holy Tuesday, which is also Evangelismos, also the 26th, the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. So here we have March 30th is on the Orthodox calendar Holy Pascha. Now here is just maybe a clearer view of the computus itself, and we can see here if we look closely at at all of the Vita dates, the blue, they all have their Paschal moon for each of the Vita dates, and we can see that what it is that this is the Paschal moon chart. This is the Paschal moon chart that the Church has been using for many centuries, for over 15 centuries, from the time of Saint Kyrillos of Alexandria, Saint Cyril of Alexandria. So we can see here, this is the Paschal moon chart here. But these are the Vitas, and this is the Paschal moon chart here. This is for going across the years. As the years go by, these are the fixed Paschal moon dates, as I explained before. Now I just want to read something very briefly before I finish this video from Saint Bede, Venerable Bede, who wrote about the Orthodox calendar, and he records a very interesting piece of writing. Now, Saint Bede, of course, we know reposed in the year 735 AD, and he recorded a letter between Saint Coefrid, who was the abbot of a monastery within the Anglo-Saxons at that time, to a king of the Picts. The Picts were a people that lived in the northern parts of Britain and who were coming to Christianity, but they were inquiring about the date of Holy Pascha, because some of the Christians, the Orthodox Christians locally, had a different Paschalion, but of course, eventually they corrected themselves and they came onto the correct church calendar, which is what we see in the Menaion and Paschal Computus. But this Saint Coefrid explains to King Nechtan the proper way of calculating Holy Pascha, which is the way that traditionally the Orthodox Church always has. So this is part of an excerpt from the letter here. Now this is dated to around 710 AD. And as we see here, he says, quote, "Then at length we keep our proper feast of Pascha, to show that we do not, like the ancients, celebrate the breaking of the Egyptian yoke of slavery, but that we venerate with faith and devotion the redemption of the whole world, which was foreshadowed in the liberation of God's ancient people, and completed at Christ's resurrection. In this way we show that we rejoice in the most certain hope of our own resurrection, which we believe will take place on the Lord's day. This calculation of Pascha, which I have explained to you, depends on a cycle of 19 years, which began to be observed by the Church long ago, in the time of the Apostles, especially in Rome and Egypt, as I mentioned earlier, but through the industry of Eusebius, who took his surname from the blessed martyr Pamphilus, it was reduced to a clearer system, so that whereas notification was formally sent each year to all the churches by the Patriarch of Alexandria, thenceforward it could easily be understood by everyone, because the 14th day of the full moon fell in a regular sequence. And I just want to cut in, when he says the 14th day of the full moon, he's referring to the Paschal moon. Because it falls in, as we see, regular sequence, which is the table here. And with the Vita numbers, that is the regular sequence which he's referring to. Theophilos, the Patriarch of Alexandria, he was the Patriarch of Alexandria, by the way, right before Saint Kyrillos. Theophilos, the Patriarch of Alexandria, drew up a Pascha table for the ensuing 100 years for the benefit of Emperor Theodosius. Similarly, his successor Cyril, or Kyrillos, drew up a table for 95 years in 5 cycles of 19 years. After him, Dionysios Exiguos added others in the same way, which extend down to our own day. This table will soon expire, but today there are so many people able to calculate that even in our own church in Britain, where there are so many who understand the ancient rules of the Egyptians and can readily compute the cycles of these Paschal times for an indefinite number of years, even for 532 years ahead, if they so desire. After this, all that concerns the sequences of the sun and moon, month and week, recurs in the same order as before. So we can see, because it has full periodicity, and the fact that it's fully mathematical, it's possible to calculate it as Saint Coefrid says, as recorded in Saint Bede's work. Saint Coefrid says that it is possible to calculate Holy Pascha for any year, based on these rules which were set out by the Holy Fathers. So we can see how important the Orthodox calendar is, that the Menaion, the fixed feasts like Holy Evangelismos, are not separate from the Paschalion. They are integrated, fully integrated. It's a fully integrated, harmonized system which the Fathers over many centuries established. It's not a question of just that we can just change one part of the calendar as if it's not affecting the rest of the calendar, because to change the Menaion still affects the entire Paschalion, because the entire Orthodox, the church calendar, is both parts. That's all for now. Next, I will make the video analyzing the video on the Kyrio Paschas, which is also very important. Christos Anesti.